Hello, good evening, or for those of you watching this programme in bed, good evening. Or if you're in bed and you're not watching this programme, good evening. And you joined us tonight at the end of a week when a top policeman decided to join up with the bunny girls at the Playboy Club, thus giving a new meaning to the expression, putting a tail on.
And in a week when Shirley Williams celebrated the arrival of OTT by getting plastered.
And in a week when Margaret Thatcher warned Arthur Scargill against trying to take the pits. At least I think that's what she said.
And in the first week of the January sales when a goat wandered into Selfridges and left, leaving a deposit on a new carpet.
And this week I've been suffering from morning sickness because every time I read about Princess Diana's kid, I throw up.
And in a week when dozens of London policemen reported for duty with no clothes on, after being told that they were to take part in a bear hunt.
And in a week when Freddie Starr talked about his hang-up on drugs, and an MP's girlfriend talked about her hang-up on a lamppost.
And at the end of the day, when Angela Rippon said she hoped her new book would bring her handsome royalty, and Mark Fogg Phillips said it wasn't him, well, he's... rabbits on a field of wet turnips. Here's Esther.
Good evening. And tonight, extramarital relations. But first, the programme.
Yes, and it's a story of fraud and hardship, which all began last July when old-age pensioners, Mr. and Mrs. Tyke, an intelligent couple, decided to buy a television set.
Unfortunately, they had trouble with the set from the very start. All they got every time they switched it on was Terry Wogan.
They complained to Mr. Hart, the man who sold them the set, who rapped back saying,
"Tough titties."
So they wrote again, saying they were fed up to the teeth.
I know how they feel.
Fed up to the teeth. Seeing programmes compared by smug Irishmen, Mr. Hart replied,
"Lay off, you pair of grizzling geriatrics. If you write again, I'll come and chuck a brick through your window."
Well, they did write again.
And Mr. Hart replied,
"By now, the Tyke household is being driven to distraction by the constant barrage of Wogan. The cat had started purring with an Irish accent.
The budgie never stopped singing the floral dance.
And even the goldfish smiled a sickly smile every time it opened its mouth.
Yes, life had become unbearable for the Tykes. They telephoned me and asked me what position I was in to help them.
And Esther replied,
"At 11 o'clock on a Saturday night, what bloody position do you think I'm in?"
But after a bit, I decided to help them and went next day to call on Mr. Hart.
Who's that?
Esther Ratbag from Next Tough. Mr. Hart, I'd like to talk to you about the television set that you sold to members of the public earlier on this week.
Get stuffed, Bugs Bunny.
Me!
Mr. Hart, you'll regret this. No, we're all on film, so would you like to say a statement to our cameras?
Statements? I'll make a bloody statement!
Bloody Japanese crap for a start. Listen, you might think Mr. and Mrs. Tyke have got it bad, but I've got 200 sets in here, and every one of them is cherry... Wogan! Every time I have a bloody bath, up he pops to off me, it's bloody checkbooks. I just get stuck. You and your bloody film crew, go on, get out the way. I'll kick you up the bloody sink. Go on.
Well, I went straight back to the television centre. I got on the phone straight away to Mr. and Mrs. Tyke. I said to them...
Why don't you twittering morons get stuffed?
And if any other complaining whingers are watching, why don't you write to Jim will fix it and leave me alone? And finally, Cyril?
And finally, Esther. I'm indebted indeed to a lady from Sheepy Magna who penned, "There once was a fellow called Cyril who one day dressed up as a squirrel. Now he's sick to the guts as someone nicked his nuts. And now all his friends call him Sibyl." Esther.
Well, that's all we've got time for. Thank you for watching. Say good night, Cyril.
Good night, Cyril.
And from me, Esther Ratbag, it's time to say...
Good night.
Hang on here, Hito, I haven't finished with you yet. You loading face load of bat droppings.
Noisy. I mean, they all get excited. Oh, hello, the drinks are arriving. Thank you very much. One of the advantages of doing an adult program is you can have these drinks. So whether you've got a story that your mother or some other member of your family, probably your mother, insists on trotting out every Christmas, your increasing annual embarrassment. As soon as she's had, like, half a gin and tonic and there's a few people in the room, out comes the story about when you were 4 or 6, whatever, and you sit there going bright red. We've been checking it out amongst ourselves this week, and every single one of us on the cast has got some sort of story that their mother or their granny always trots out every year at Christmas. And it did occur to us that a lot of you have probably got similar stories. So what we thought we'd ask you to do in this week is try sending some in. We'll be sending prizes for the best ones that we read out on next week's show and 1 or 2 of the weeks after that. Mine's very simple, really. The one that I have to suffer every year, every Christmas. I go into this room and sort of there's all these people I see once a year, and there's my mother sort of in full cry, and I go, oh no, I'm going to hide in the garage. It's my special 6th birthday treat at the pantomime. It never really registered with me sort of until later life, but much later life. But it can't exactly have been a traditional pantomime, because halfway through this production of Jack and the Beanstalk, on came a performing elephant. And when I say performing, I do mean a performing elephant. Because the first thing it does is lumber into the middle of this enormous stage, let out a great trumpet, and distribute everything it's eaten for about 3 months all around the base of the beanstalk. Let me finish. Like a great roundabout it was. And the actors all tried totally to ignore it, and the mothers all sort of looked up at the ceiling and looked terribly embarrassed, and all the kids stayed absolutely silent because they've got a thick ear. All except for this one little, apparently I keep hearing this every year, this one little flaxen-haired little 6-year-old who suddenly pipes up in a loud voice right across this totally silent theatre, "Mummy! Nellie's doing big jobs!" And I have to hear that every year, and it gets ever so embarrassing.
So, if any of you have got any equally embarrassing anecdotes that you're sick of hearing year after year, then send them in to us, and we'll be giving you prizes for any of them that we read out. But first, I'm sure by now a lot of you are thinking, surely it's time we took a look at an 18-year-old Cliff Richard dressed only in a loincloth. Woo-wee!
Oh, thank goodness he's friendly.
Looks like he's pretty friendly, too.
I swear.
That was taken in about, caught you napping, that was taken in about 1904, I think, when Cliff was 10, and both he and Barbara have filled out very nicely since then. But first, actually, you probably saw him as we came to that, but can I introduce someone who I think you're going to enjoy a lot over the next 13 weeks? Please welcome Alexi Sale.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm actually the trendy correspondent on this show, and I've been I've actually been travelling around the country during the week trying to find out what's trendy for you. And I've been up to Liverpool, you know, and I don't know if you know, but there's a big 60s revival going on up in Liverpool, you know. Like, there's whole families trying to live on £8 a week. And there's a big 30s thing going on as well, you know, like, I mean, you're nobody unless you've got rickets, you know. And, like, there's whole shops in town sell nothing but leg irons. It's really amazing, and everybody's putting on berets and going to fight in Spain, except that's called the World Cup. Also, we're going to tell you about what's been trendy in the past year. Now, of course, I thought it was wonderful in 1981 that in the year of the disabled, everybody supported the Social Democrats. I think it's wonderful to see people with acute brain damage forming their own party. Not worrying about the speech defects or anything, you know, it's great. I think they're great, aren't they, the Social Democrats? You know, they're the K-Tel of British politics. You know, same old shit, different package. The other thing you probably don't know is that it's actually Albanian fortnight here in Birmingham. So it is now, anyway. So I'm going to do some Albanian poetry for you now, in subtitles, with semaphore, for the harder thinking, right? Mostra boshedje, mostra jedje, nastra foshedje. Mostra boshe, mostra goshe, mostra bosh... Ah, stuff it. There's obviously no Albanians in tonight. Good. This Albanian goes for a job on a building site, right? Excuse me, I'd like a job as a racial stereotype, please. Actually, my grandparents were Albanian, you know, and my grandmother was full of wisdom. She used to sit me on her knee and she used to say, Nancy, she used to say. She used to say, even a Scotch egg can look at a beech tree. I used to say, what the friggin' hell are you talking about? Nah, did it with the sharp end of a trowel. Anyway, we're going to do an Albanian folk song for you now, so here we go. I wouldn't have a daff if you paid me. Hoya, boya, in the arm. Moya, boya, through the ears. Moya, boya, nail in the head. I think I'll be a cabinet minister. So he sings. Over there is where the tanks came, and our cavalry attacked them, waving their weapons, their kitchen utensils. Kitchen utensils, you say? But surely there is some mistake. But no, because the word for kitchen utensil and the word for sword in Albanian is exactly the same. So, our troops, our cavalry attacked the tanks, waving their kitchen utensils, sitting on bricks. Bricks, you say? Bricks? But surely this man has been at the Groblik wine. But no, because the word for brick and the word for horse is the same in Albanian. So, our troops attacked the tanks, and they were completely wiped out. And after the battle, I walked through the field, and I laid the bricks up, and I laid out the utensils end to end. Then I looked up to God, and I said, what do you think of that? Then I opened up a branch of habitat. Oi, 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 Mastra Albani, Vosocia, no socia, no socia, Kasha, Vosocia, Bajecka Albani. Everybody now sing along. Come on, you clothy git, sing it, and it's oi, 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 Mastra Albani, Kasheti, Vosocia, no socia, Kasha, Kasocia, Bajecka. I was being pathetic. Do it again. Come on, Annie. Master Albani. No such a Bajecka. No such a Kasha. No such a Bajecka. Just tell him.
Now then, guys and gals, how's about, like, we are on our quest for, like, the worst record ever made. Now, how's about this one? How's about this one for, like, a real load of garbage? real load of garbage, Lucy, and it's the one and only. It's Shel Silverstein singing all about this geezer, right? That geezer bloke called Stacey Brown. Like, there's a fella who's got, like, that little something extra.
Did you hear about Stacey Brown?
No, he didn't, no, he lied to.
He had every chick in town.
No, he didn't, but he tried to.
He had looks, he had class, do anything to get a little lass. And everyone would shout at him when he walked his girlies past. Said everybody got one.
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 Stacey Brown got two. Do you know the reason for his success?
No, we don't, so tell us.
They say that he was double blessed.
Not like you tell us.
They say that Stacey Brown was born just a little bit deformed. Still, his girlfriends, they all wake up smiling every morning, singing, everybody got one.
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 Everybody got one. Stacey Brown got two.
Why they climbing up the wall?
Just to get to Stacey.
Young ones run and the old ones crawl.
He drives us crazy.
He got two, and that's a fact. But no one knows where the other ones at. On his elbow, on his knee, oh, underneath his hat. Singing, everybody got one. Come on, sing. Everybody got one. Everybody got one.
Everybody got one.
Stacey Brown got two. Yeah!
Well, a classic there by a gentleman called Shel Silverstein. Stacey Brown got two, and they both got him into trouble. It's actually just one of a number of fairly tasteless records we'll be playing over the next 13 weeks or so. My favourite, actually, the copy we've got is too bad to play. It's a terrible shame, because it's about this bloke who got in his lorry... Oh, that one over there, hello. He got in his lorry on Christmas Eve and ran over Santa Claus. I don't know who writes these things. There's a wonderful line in it that says, and as they dragged me from that twisted wreck, I saw a reindeer with a broken neck. So... That's just an example of the sort of goodies to whet your appetite over the next week. But now it's time to beat your brains out!
Beat your brains out. Beat your brains out. Yeah, beat your brains out. Cause we ain't there for you. Beat your brains out. And beat your brains out. Yeah, beat your brains out. And keep money short of you. Beat your brains out. Beat your brains out. Yeah, beat your brains out. And turn your brains a bit too good. Beat your brains out.
Stop it! Sit down! All right, sit down! As you probably gather, there's some sort of competition at this moment. You can see the audience here getting terribly excited about the prospect. As you can see, that's the sort of enthusiasm that heralds the... Oh, well worth waiting for. The enthusiasm that heralds one of our competitions. We decided on this show, we had so much audience on Tiswas, grown-ups writing in with postcards and things joining competitions. I'm on that one over there again, she's not doing that. So we'd set competitions for adults. First of all, I must show you the prizes for this week's Fab Wow Gasp Zing competition. If they're not actually covered in all sorts of muck. Little coughing and noise. I've got the new LP from ABBA, the top of the charts at the moment, the best-selling LP in Britain from ABBA. We've also got an LP by this gentleman. I must admit, I didn't realise he made LPs. By Leonid Brezhnev. That's his new biggie. Have a little burst of that. Fabulous, that. Fabulous.
And you can hear the rhythmic sounds of Leo on the red square label.
That's right, and if you don't like it, a KGB man pops up through the hole in the middle and smashes your brains in.
Meanwhile, we have a prize for the man who loves tits. Yes, that's right.
I think we've offended everybody else, so we might as well do this one as well. Right.
You just hang this little fetching bag
Sorry,
out
rather
on
nice,
a nearby tree, and you will have more tits than you can cope with.
That'll do for me.
It's for you.
Also, this is called a bum bin. You probably haven't seen it. This is called a... Actually, no, sorry. This is a reject. It's got a crack in. There is a competition coming up. First of all, have a look at this piece of film. It's not easy to talk with a mouthful of nuts. Crack on! It's from 1964. Have a little look at this piece of film. Questions at the end.
Now, we'd like you to send us the full proper names of those well-known musicians which we have just shown you.
That's right. Think about it, actually. It's not quite as simple as it thinks. The proper real names of those 4 well-known musicians. And just a little clue, that was filmed in Holland in 1964. That is actually quite a useful little tip, that. 1964 in Holland. Have a look at our usual address, of course. Postcards only are possible for this one. OTT, Central Television, of course. We're no longer ATV. We're now Central Television. Central Television, Central... House. Takes a long time to go around this, doesn't it? Doesn't bother me. Broad Street, Birmingham, B1 2JP. That's OTT. Postcards only, please, for that one. OTT, Central Television, Central House, Broad Street, Birmingham, B1 2JP. That's this week's competition, plus, of course, the other one about silly stories your mum tells about you every Christmas. Competitions to our usual address, which we've just shown you. Very sensible of us to put that address on to Massey Ferguson Hubnuts.
Hello? What? Oh, hello, Your Majesty. Yes, Your Majesty. This is Algernon Tudor, Plantagenet, Balmoral, Richard, Coeur de Lion, Henry IV, parts 1 and 2. Razzmatazz here. Hang on, darling, hang on. I bet that's the first time you've ever been kissed by a black man. What's that, Your Majesty? I can't hear you too well. Can you stop those damn corgis barking? That's better. What? You watching the program? And what do you think of OTT? You like beat your brains out? And you've been chasing the servants around the Sandringham kitchen with the big wooden sword. You little tinker. I beg your pardon? You're entering the competition. Well, don't forget to put a stamp on the envelope. If you can't get a stamp, just stick a photo of yourself in the top right-hand corner. Just a minute, darling. Just... No, there seems to be a clicking noise on the line. Pardon? Oh, it's Prince Philip knitting booties for the baby. I tell you what, with him being a sailor, he'll really know how to cast off. What's that? I made you laugh at the Royal Variety Show. Well, you know they wouldn't let me do any gags about you on the show. What? They wouldn't let you do any gags about me on the Christmas Day speech either. Never mind, it still made me laugh. I tell you what, one thing, darling, I tell you what made me laugh when he came up with all the old catchphrases, you know, the bit when he said, my husband and I, man, I was rolling about on the floor. What's that? You're ringing because you want some tickets for the show? Of course, but I must say, darling, I did notice I wasn't in the New Year's honours list. I mean, what's Max Jaffa got that I haven't got? A Stradivarius. Well, I don't think having a big flashy car should make any difference. And fancy giving Ken Dodd one. No, I didn't mean it like that, Your Majesty. What I meant was he's so ugly and scruffy, he makes Wurzel Gummidge look like Dolly Parton. Well, he would do with 2 more turnips shoved up his jumper. All right, maybe next year then. Now, what about these tickets? Where would you like to sit? Somewhere at the front. Row A? No? Well, all right, then how about row B? What? Oh, that's really great, Your Majesty. You prefer to sit in row K.
Hello and welcome once again. It's the first time we've ever tried it. Thanks for dropping in. And tonight on TFDI, we meet Rob Poole from King's Norton in Birmingham. He's a computer operations supervisor. Ooh! And behind him is lustful Larry the lifeguard. He'll be helping him out through the course of the contest. In the middle there, Neil Glaspie from Lichfield. He's a civil servant. Wow, that sounds really interesting. Behind him is bouncing, bursting Biffy. And number 3... sensibly wearing a life jacket for the occasion, Sally Matthews from Shropshire. She's a water sampler. And behind her is the very, very elegant Count Custard, right? Now, the rules tonight are extremely simple, but not half as simple as our contestants. And unlike any other quiz game on this one, if you answer anything correctly, you get absolutely nothing. But if you get it wrong, not only do you get loads and loads of consolation prizes from your particular helper, but your seat tilts forward like so. Let's have a little look at that. Just a little bit. And if you should fall into this revolting, evil-smelling mixture here, I shout, soggy, 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 and you shout... Oi, oi, oi! Yeah, try it again properly this time, because it is going out on television. Soggy, soggy, soggy. Oi, oi, oi! There you are, you see, pathetic. Now, the fabulous prizes, tonight's star prize, obviously they're getting all sorts of consolation prizes, but tonight's star prize, have a little look at this. Wow! Gasp! Whatever it is, made in Taiwan earlier today. So let's get straight on with all the action. There's prizes waiting to be won. We're going to have some fun, fun, fun. OK, start with you on the end there, with the... Sorry, I thought it was a bogey under your nose. Number one, which top pop group has lost its drummer earlier today?
Human League.
Shut up!
Beatles.
I beg your pardon?
The Beatles.
Pathetic, you lame brain. No, sorry, number two. Sorry, number two. Ah, yes, I forgot to mention about that, but never mind, you found out anyway. Number two, who is the General Secretary... Are you watching me? Wish you had. Who is the General Secretary of ASLEF?
Michael Holden.
You plank. No, Ray Buxton, sorry. Number three, what did... I hope that's chocolate. Number three, what did President Reagan display in his front window over Christmas? What did President Reagan display in his front window, but took his teeth back in over Christmas?
A candle.
A lighted candle, correct. Right, well done. Don't make her feel important. What was the score in this afternoon's rugby match at Twickenham?
36-100.
That's very close. England 15, Australia 11. Sorry, get rid of him. Right. No, he's still there. No, he's fine. Right. Two to go.
Soggy, soggy, soggy!
Right, well, done that. Right. In which county is Charles... Yes, she's a shame to waste it. In which county is Charles and Diane's new home, Highgrove House?
Leicestershire.
Close, it's Gloucestershire. Never mind. Sorry. Well, that means that tonight's winner... All right. That means tonight's winner from Tax for Dropping In is... What was your name again? Absolutely well done. Give her the star prize. Give her a big hand. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done. Goodbye. Sorry about that. She's just going to join us again next time for another edition of Tags for Dropping In. Goodbye. Good what?
Come out here, you men! Don't you lie down there! Come out here immediately! I can't for a minute!
Oh, Terry, I'm so glad you're not like all the others.
I'm not.
They're just football. How's your father and Hofmeister Lager?
Yeah. Sonia.
Terry!
We're on our way to Wembley. The lads are on the telly. Hello, Sonia.
Hello, Sonia.
Sorry about that, Terry. We'll watch the match at Aries. Come on, you Reds. Come on, you Reds.
Hofmeister. Great lager.
Shame about poor Sonia. Shame about poor Sonia.
Come on, you Reds.
Good evening. Reader's Digest have announced their biggest ever prize draw. Watch your post for an envelope like this. If you're lucky enough to get one, you could win one of thousands of prizes, including the biggest ever first prize of £30,000. Just send in your entry right away. You could win this £30,000 cheque. Good luck.
Thank you. Well, welcome to our look at art. Now, this week, this is actually a statuette of Michelangelo's David. It was executed in the... breaking his teeth in for the dog, sorry. It was executed in the heroic style between 1501 and 1504. Michelangelo, as you probably know, was one of the leading exponents, artists of the Renaissance, and he's also a leading exponent of fresco. and was perhaps, well, certainly was the founder of the Mannerist school. So here we have Michelangelo's David. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alexia. That really was quite marvellous. What was it? As you probably know, this extraordinary, I so nearly said entertainment, this extraordinary programme this evening is actually a development of a well-known Saturday morning children's television programme. And it, actually, never mind about all that. Clap on your own, they throw earrings at you. It's actually the first time ever, this particular children's television programme attracted such a large adult following that the split became quite impossible. And this is the first time ever in the history of world television that a children's programme has got such a large adult following that's had to do its own late-night special adult programme to cater for them. But already, although we've only been on about 40 minutes now, television chiefs already are so excited about it, and so's Mary White, so excited about it, that there's going to be a whole new host of titles coming up during the course of 1982. I know that in April, the BBC start with Even Bluer Peter. That's one. There's Strip Jackanory. That should be a good one. Mike Reed with Sleep Around. That should be fairly... Oh, the Rubber and Leather Tops. That's one. Well, and Noel Edmonds with his new late-night classic, the multicoloured knocking shop. Now, those are just a few of the things to look forward to during the course of 1982. Just a few of the programmes. Speaking of the more Hooty, Elbow, man of mystery, clairvoyant, extraordinaire, stargazer, astounding, astrologer, unstinting. How are you today?
You all right, Chris?
The better for seeing you, thanks, Hooty. Do you have a nice New Year? You look very well.
I did. I took my mum to the Greasy Spoon Cafe.
That sounds terrible.
No, it was nice. They've got a new chef there. He's ever so well known in this country. He's top class.
Cordon Bleu?
Gordon Wilkinson, actually. And he was telling me he used to work in one of these big hotels in London, but he got the sack.
Cooking the books? Hey, cooking the books?
No.
Sorry.
He didn't want to join the union, Chris. I don't think he wanted to stir it.
That wasn't funny at rehearsal.
Oh, that's funny, stirring his cook. Oh, that's funny. Anyway, Chris, he was telling me that in his cafe, one day, he had one of these African chiefs came in. And this African chief, because he came from the jungle, he wasn't used to all these English dishes because he lived on these erotic foods.
You mean exotic? Erotic food is something that gets you going? You know, food doesn't get you going.
Oh, prunes, Chris. My mum swears by that.
We don't want to explore that.
I'm a needle at 30 paces,
never mind.
Chris.
We don't want to explore that lowest common denominator.
So, and this African chief, he lived on a diet of these seeds from big jungle trees.
Sequoia.
Bless you. And he said to the chef, he said, me want seeds from jungle, that's what me want
He seemed to hum a lot, this particular chef.
Anyway, so the chef, he got some of these seeds, he managed to get hold of some, and he didn't know how to cook them. That was his problem, Chris. So, first of all, he tried baking some of these seeds, and he was baking the seeds, and he gave them to the chief, and the chief went, bleh.
Didn't like them,
He didn't like them, he said, take them away. So, he tried boiling some, and he boiled some, and he gave them to the chief. And the chief didn't like, he went, bleh. They're even worse than the baked ones, he said. Take them back.
Did he try stuffing them?
I think he'd have liked to at the time, Chris. And then... So anyway, the next thing he tried, he stood there for hours. He stood there pouring hot fat over them till they were thoroughly...
Basted?
No, he was a nice bloke. I know he's my man these days. Lovely couple. And so finally he thought, I'll try frying them. So he fried some in a frying pan, see, and he gave them to the chief, Chris. And the chief went... He said, they're not bad, but they're not quite right. And so he thought, I'll fry some more, he thought. And the chief said... He said, they're still not bad, but they're not actually perfect. So he went back and he fried them some more. And you know what, Chris? Do you know what the chief, he said? They're lovely, them. They're just like my mum makes back in the jungle, which proves something, Chris.
I thought there's going to be a moral to this, isn't there? I can almost taste this one.
If at first you don't cook seed, fry, and fry again.
You're not getting a lot of work, are you, Hooty? You're not getting a lot of work, are you?
My mum likes me.
There's no surprise to me. Say after me, and now here's something of interest to all dogs.
Here's something of interest to all dogs.
And get off.
Well...
You know, a balanced diet is really important to stay in tip-top condition. Come on, Chef. Long way to go yet. There's a good boy, Chef. Have you tried Woof-A-Lot?
Wolf-A-Lot is really important for good, strong teeth and healthy bones. And a healthy body, too. Just look at that chap. No stodge there. All meaty goodness. Nothing like a walk on the moors for building up your appetite. Good boy, Chef. Now, you piss off and find yourself a rabbit. Piss off.
She looks so nice as well in real life, doesn't she? Look at her. Well, I think so far we've explored all the lowest possible areas of taste this evening. But now, just something to quieten us all down a bit, because you're all getting too excited. Now it's time for...
Practicing for the marriage night.
Now it's time for Pause for Thought.
My children, my beloved children, my name is the Reverend Nathaniel Westminster, but you can call me Nat West. Let me hear you say yeah. Yeah! My children, I know that at this time you are sorely troubled. I can tell that deep down you feel ill at ease, sick at heart. Your mind is a blur. A dull ache numbs your very vitals, and you say to yourselves, God, I had a skinful this new year. Let me hear you go. And let me tell you, my children, that this year of 1982 must be a year of going forward. There will be no going back. Let me hear you say there will be no going back. Say it louder. Even louder. Did you hear that, Meg Mortimer? And in April, my friends, there will be great tribulation throughout the land. There will be misery and weeping, a wailing and a gnashing of teeth, all the result of one disastrous night, Sir Geoffrey Howe. Let me hear you say resign. Resign! And finally, my children, I foresee that in June we shall hear a voice cry out from on high, and that voice will cry, Diana, for God's sake, stop that baby crying. I've got a polo match in the morning. Let me hear you say, wah! Louder, wah! And now, my friends, it's time for the collection. Give as generously as you can. Checks will be accepted with banker's cards. And if you ain't got a bank account, then here's how to get one.
You can use our master charge card instead of money, and then at the end of each month, we send you a statement.
Okay, good. I'll take one.
Fine. Now, your name, please.
Nicholas H. Giannopaparopoulos.
Now, let's see, that's Nicholas H. Giannopopo... I'm sorry.
Ropoulos.
J-A-N-O-P-O-P. Two
Three
O's.
O's. And one O-R after the second op.
So that's J-A-N-O-P-O-P-O-R-O-P.
O-L-U-S.
O-L-U-S. There. Now, Mr. Giannopaparopoulos. Mr. Giannopaparopoulos. Do you mind if I call you Nick?
Well, sit down. There you are, a rather extraordinary little clip there we found from the States. I was in San Francisco earlier this year, and odd people in America. Sorry, Colette, but they are a bit odd. This bloke comes up to me and he says, "Hey, buddy, and whereabouts do you come from?" In England. And I said, "Oh, you're Warwickshire." And he says, "Hey, is that anywhere near Germany?" Very strange. Something we did say tonight on all the tickets, apart from £5 admission to come in. It's not that funny. Sorry, 6 years. Is that we would give a special award to the person. We did encourage people tonight to look as silly as possible. As you can see, we've done extremely well with this. There's been no problem at all. It's a complete cross-section of total loonies. But there's one bloke here, I don't know who he is or what he's doing, but, I mean, I don't know if we can pan down and see this bloke. Look at the state of this. Look at it. It's a Mr. Davis from somewhere in Cheshire. Is that... Why are you dressed like that, Mr. Davis? You seem to have sort of over-enthused about the whole thing.
I'm going out for a meal afterwards.
Are you? Looks as if you've already had one. Well, I tell you what, from all of us, something we'll be doing every week. Give him a big hand, please, It's the BPITA Award, OK? We'll be giving that every week to the person who looks the silliest amongst us, the BPITA Award, OK? Well done. Now, I know a lot of you now are wondering whether you can possibly see that clip of film where the man from Malta hits himself over the end of the nose with a £40 hammer. Well, you can.
What? £14 hammer? I'll knock it with my nose.
You're going to knock your nose with it, OK?
Sorry?
these little short clips, they do keep me laughing. One thing, actually, we've been keeping fairly secret, for obvious reasons, is that, well, we can see him over here, John Gorman, the balding, paunchy one over there on the left.
That's it, Terrence!
It's actually his birthday. We've been saying this is a very special occasion. First of all, can we all join in the traditional song, please? How old are you, Mr. Gorman? 20. Yes, fine, OK. Happy birthday to you. This is lovely.
Happy birthday to you.
Sing!
Happy birthday, dear John.
Happy birthday to you. There you are, John. From all of us, happy birthday. And, of course, no birthday party would be complete without a custard pie. Happy birthday, John. That's something we kept asking. I don't quite know... It's actually very difficult to sit down with that much hair, and you look like a beef eater. I don't quite know how to describe... the next item. It's something you certainly won't have seen before on television. I think there's probably every chance you won't see it ever again. It's three chaps, and they're boys, well, men in the full bloom of manhood, and it's a sort of dance routine.
Yeah.
Oh,
the Charleston, something
really nice and classic.
They've got balloons that sort of are props.
Yes.
There's actually three blokes, and they've really only got just the pair of balloons. Well, yeah.
Oh no, my mum's watching this.
Will you please give a very warm welcome? I think you'll appreciate them. I'm absolutely sure you will. Will you please welcome the Romans in Britain Cha-Cha-Cha from the greatest show in legs? I've just been sitting here saying, please, God, don't let the balloons burst. Please, God, don't let the balloons burst. And so that's just about it, really. The newspapers are just beginning to trickle into Birmingham. There's a woman over there having hysterics. What's the matter with her? That's about it, really. The newspapers have just arrived here in Birmingham, and as we say goodnight, the Sunday papers are already here. If you open your papers first thing tomorrow morning, yes, you've got about another 5 minutes before midnight, you're reading the Sunday Express tomorrow about lonely honeymoon for the lovesick golfer. She obviously cleared off when he found he had a hole-in-one. And the News of the World had the...